So it's another daily dosey dose of Asada Israel. And the conversation is about relationships. And I just read this post on Facebook and I love the way that this king expressed what he said. He said that he said a lot, but basically he said until you can keep talking about how other people acted in a relationship, but until you look at the man in the mirror, man, woman, whatever you want to call it, in the mirror, like until you look at that person and have to deal with that person every day, ain't nobody gonna want to be in a relationship with you. And that's what people don't be understanding. Like, if you don't have a solid relationship with yourself, if you don't know yourself to the fullest extent, I'm talking about your triggers too. Like, you got to know why when you talking to people and they say something so, like, it could be something so small, but it triggers something it triggers your PTSD, your trauma response. And it literally takes your mind away. Cause I say that example specifically because that happens to me a lot. Like, I can be having a conversation with someone and then they'll say something and my mind will just travel to a whole nother dimension for real. And it's not like I'm doing that intentionally, but it's something that they said in that conversation that triggered me to go above and beyond what the conversation was about. And it's like, you have to be conscious of that. And like, it brings me back to a video I made. It's called Broke or Broken. And it's like that for real. Like, people always hollering saying that you broke. Like, no, ain't nobody broke for real. We all broke. If we want to go to take it that far in the conversation, like, we all broke. But the reality is, motherfuckers be broken. Being broken it means something up here is not, like, the wheel's not turning. Something is not turning no more. Just like how with a bike, once the chain slip, you can't move the bike with the pedals. You have to push it unless you fix the chain. It's just like that with your brain. If your mind, your body, and your soul, your mind and your body for real, because just like keep using this bike example, like, you can keep going and going, like, you can, like, even though the chain slipped, you can still push the bike. And it's like, even though you never dealt with your unhealed trauma, you can still grow up into an adult. That don't mean you a healthy adult. That don't mean you making progress. You just moving. You just making movement. You just making these moves. And it's like, that's what people got to understand. Like, it's way deeper than this. Like, we got to stop looking at life for this surface level stuff. That's what they want us to do. Like I said before, this is a spiritual warfare. Enslavement that happened 600 years ago, that was a spiritual warfare. And it's like, it disconnected us from our spiritual being, from the spirits inside of us. That, just so, let me give you an example so you know what I'm talking about. So, like, those rituals, those, your habits, your rituals, that is your spirit. The things that you do on a daily that keeps you going, that is your spirit. That is your fire. That is not some kind of religion or thing like that. That is a part of you. If you're not connected with that part of you, then you will forever be disconnected with all of yourself. We are living avatars. If y'all ain't seen that show Avatar, if you ain't seen The Legend of Korra, if you ain't seen the movie Avatar, you need to check yourself before you wreck yourself, before you come trying to check someone else. Like I said, this is a space of insightful understanding. And it's like, that's all we doing. We are gaining insight and we understanding ourselves. And it's like, we have to really tap into that, into our beings. Because if, I said this yesterday, like, if you afraid to talk about stuff like this, then you won't be prepared for the war that's coming when you have to defend this. Like, I ain't a stranger. I seen all, like, these movies be preaching life. That's what y'all don't get. Y'all want to watch these movies with some popcorn, some nachos, some hot dogs, and some pizza and shit like that, some chicken. Like, we want to watch these movies, kick our feet up, get comfortable under the covers, chilling with our people to watch these movies. Man, you watching your life. You literally watching your life pass you by in these movies. These movies, these shows, these cartoons, this music, all of this stuff. You literally watching your life pass you by. Because they're literally telling you what is going to happen. If we don't unlock this, the 100 is going to happen. And the whole world going to restart again. Why do y'all think it was a desert at first? Did y'all see the movie Raya? Did y'all see the movie Moana? Like, come on now. I know I ain't stupid. I know I ain't the only one that got the wheels turning right here. I fix them. Like, that's the thing. When I was a kid, I used to love fixing the chains on the bikes, because that it like, and then like now when I look back at that, like when I look at that and I come back to myself, making a metaphor to where our body and our brains and our life moves like a bike. Whoo, that's crazy. But like, it moves like a bike. So if the pedal's not able to move properly, you're not able to make progress properly. And it's like, you have to really face that person in the mirror. I don't care what you went through in life. I don't care. That is your story. That is the gift that God gave you. That is the gift God gave you. Like, and I say that because my life was not pitch perfect. It wasn't. I didn't like it. Shit. That's why I disconnected from my own damn spirit. I ain't like that. Like, motherfuckers was born on the bathroom floor. No umbilical cord. Like, I be telling people this. Like, I don't care what nobody say. I feel like when I hit that flow, I hit my head like a motherfucker. But it's cool because I'm cool. Okay? That's all about being aware of your shit. Like, because that's why I said, like, that's why you have to face the man in the mirror, because the thing is about the society that we live in, the enslavement society, the colonial society. They make money off of discussions like this. And they make money off of discussions like this, and they make money off of people who are ignorant from discussions like this. Because the people who have this is how it was working. The people who's having these discussions were dictating how prices go, how supply is going, and how demand is going. Why you think they got all those cameras and stuff in the stores to keep people from stealing? But do you know that they really be watching to see what we buy? So that's how they create. That's how, like, the stores in our neighborhood, they only put out the stuff that they know we're gonna buy, because that's what GDP is. It's a list of all the things that we purchase. So it's like they're using us as lab rats for real. So if they know that this is all the stuff that we're purchasing, that's the only thing that they're gonna have available for us to buy. So it's like you wonder why we don't have, like, at the gas stations and stuff, we don't have all that extra stuff that they have in the other neighborhoods. Or, like, for instance, this is a perfect example. When you go into a Whole Foods, it's completely different than how you look when you go into Food for Less. Completely different. Because it's a cultural difference. It's a health difference. It's an access difference. It's a knowledge difference. If we're not controlling the propaganda, if we're not controlling the narratives, if we're not in tune with ourselves enough to know that this is how the system works for us and against us, then we won't be able to compete in a competitive society like we live in. Like a lot of people talk about they want to get rid of colonialism, get rid of capitalism and stuff, but it's like you have to figure out where you are in that society before you can try to get rid of anything. It's not gonna work. Like that's like, back to the bike example. Oh my, like your bike, your chain slipped. Oh my God, I need a new bike. No, you don't. You just need to fix the chain. Tighten up the wheels, pull it like, and then also like if your chain slip, you can keep putting the chain back on the thing, but it's gonna keep slipping until you adjust the wheels wider so that the chain can level itself out. You get what? Do y'all? I hope y'all understand. I hope y'all picking up what I'm putting down, okay? Because I know I'm saying some shit. I know I'm preaching to the choir. And I know I'm saying some shit. So I know. I know. So it's like, that's how we have to treat life. Treat life like you riding on the bike. You can adjust the seat. You can adjust the steering wheel. You can adjust the wheels. You can fix the chain anytime you need to. You just need to have the proper tools in order to do these things. And that comes with admitting, becoming aware of your shit, accepting your shit, holding yourself accountable for your shit, and creating actions to change the way you shit. Okay? Because like that also goes like with the saying that you are what you eat. Like like when people say eat, they think that you talking about just food. No. You are what you watch. You are who you surround yourself with. You are what you feed your body. You are what you feed your mind. You are what you feed your body. You are what you feed your soul. How you express your fire, that's who you are. How emotionally available you are, that's who you are. How you mentally think of things, how you mentally comprehend, and how you physically move, how you physically evolve, honestly and truly. Because we evolve physically before we do anything. And it's like we have to really tap into that knowledge. Like that's what they call the forbidden knowledge. But it's not really forbidden. Whereas opposed to it was. That's the reason why slavery happened the way that it did. And this is my theory. So like slavery happened the way it did because they had this, everybody had this knowledge and there's no sense of unity. So it's like some people was tapped into this, some people wasn't. And it was like, it wasn't fair to everybody. Like, even though everybody was scattered, it wasn't fair to everybody. But not saying that it was right. Slavery was an economic decision, a selfish economic decision. That's how I feel about it. Because we can go down the web with that discussion for real. But it was definitely a selfish economic decision. Because they didn't necessarily have to do that. But they did that because that's what was available at the time. And that's how they view society at the time. But like now that it happened and that our consciousness evolved, because if you look back back in the day, in ancient times, on how life was progressing, that's how they was accustomed to doing it. But then once it happened in America for real, like once they did the world domination point. Because at first they was doing it in different society, in different tribes and stuff. But when it became a world dominated thing, that's when our consciousness evolved, because we realize what suffering is. Only way you can understand what peace is if you understand what suffering is. If you never suffered in your life, you can never understand what peace is. And that's what God was trying to teach us as a community, as a collective. That is how we evolve our consciousness. Because we didn't, like the people in Africa, they don't realize that they're suffering for real, because that is their way of life. Like I was watching a video and they had to stay in this shed until it stopped raining, because it was so much rainfall and so much rain falling, and the ground elevated so high to where they couldn't travel to where they was going. And that's petty, that they have to live like that. And it's like we have the solution to help them. We literally have it. But our minds are locked into capitalism. Like we can literally we can all compete in a competitive society together. We can literally evolve the whole earth to a point with the Jetsons. Like, honestly and truly, like, I used to watch that show when I was a kid. Like, I used to see the Flintstones and I used to see the Jetsons. Like, I believe that is possible. Just like Back to the Future. Like, all of that is possible. We just have to evolve our consciousness. I've been seeing a lot of stuff on Instagram. Like, some people make it, like, I'm going to say this. Solar energy is magical. Natural energy is magical. You can like really get creative with the gifts that God gave you. And it's like, that's a part of your story. You can only understand how to solve a puzzle from experience. Cause I kid you not, you give an infant a puzzle, they're gonna look at that and they're gonna try to eat the pieces, because they don't even know how to put it together yet. But that's what slavery did. It taught us how to put the puzzle together. That, like, from enslavement period until now, it taught us how to put the puzzles together. That's the puzzle with yourself, and that's the puzzle with us as a collective, on how we can evolve as a collective, evolve our consciousness. That's all we are here on earth to do, is to evolve our consciousness, is to change. We're going to live, we're going to die. Not like, and that's something else that I've been wanting to say, but I'm going to leave that where it's at. But like, only thing that is guaranteed in life is change. Like, we experience death so much that we forgot to live. We don't, like, some people know how to live. That's because they unlocked this. But a lot of people don't have that same level of love. Because that's what that is. To unlock this is to love yourself enough to know that you are better than what happened to you. To know that you are better than what's in front of you. To know that you are worth more than your suffering. That is a level of love that we all deserve to have in ourselves. Like, I love watching this little video of this little girl. She got her little ponytails done, and she was just acting with the TikTok, and I don't even know if she knew what the thing was saying, but she was vibing with it, like she knew exactly what was going on. And I love that, because the level of confidence that these kids are coming back with, I love it. I love it. And it's like, we have the opportunity to birth these kids. We have the opportunity to teach these kids, and we got the opportunity to make sure that they don't have to suffer like we did. They get to learn from our suffering so that their consciousness can evolve to a point where we don't even recognize life anymore. Like, we don't even recognize our own suffering no more, because they transmuted that pain into pleasure. That is why these kids are here. That is why we were put on this earth, to teach our parents on how to turn their pain into pleasure. I'm only 22, but I know I can teach my parents how to turn their pain into pleasure once they are willing to heal from what they've been through in life. Because that's the thing. We have to take that time. If we don't take that time to sit with ourselves, we can never expect anyone to come sit with us. You can never expect anyone to come respect you or be loyal to you if you're not even loyal to yourself. Like Dr. Seppi said, you cannot expect the people that poisoned you to come save you. No one is coming to save you. Jesus is not coming down from the sky and saying, hello, my people. No, he's not doing that. He's not. He didn't even do it the first time. It was a parable. It was a story to awaken the mind on what resurrection is. It's when you enlighten yourself to the truth, to the spirit of truth. That's what Jesus did. He was not some holy God that saved the world and did all of these things. No. He was a person that found his purpose, just like Noah, just like Daniel, just like Job, just like all of those people that's in the storybooks. Because like, we ain't just talking about the Bible no more. We talking about, we could talk about Malcolm X. We could talk about Madam C.J. Walker. We could talk about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. We could talk about Rosa Parks. We could talk about Marcus Garvey. We could talk about Chairman Omali Yeshitela. Okay? Like, we could talk about Angela Davis. We could talk about Assata Shakur. We could talk about Tupac Shakur. We could talk about Afeni Shakur. We could talk about the Black Panthers, Huey P. Newton, Fred Hampton. We could talk about Bobby Seale. We could talk about, we can literally talk about all of these people that found their purpose and acted on it. That is what we are here to do. We are here to evolve our consciousness. Peace and love. Okay?